Hello and welcome to the Legends and Lads Cricket Podcast. I am Chirunandhan Srinath, your host for this week. Joining me are my two co-hosts Rakesh sir and Krishna Maitreya. And in this episode, we will talk about India versus Australia third Test match that recently concluded at the Gabba. Uh, if you want me to summarize the Test match in one sentence, I think I would call it rain and resilience. India's showdown at the Gabba. We somehow, I think, we have a very special affinity towards this venue. The last time we toured Australia, history was made, and this time the Indian team fancied and showed off their grit yet again. I remember in 2021, the third Test match was at Sydney, and it was a draw. And now here we go, another third Test goes draw. So my first question to Rakesh sir, first of all, how are you, sir? And how
I'm fine.
confident
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. How
Sorry.
confident is the Indian team going into the next match? Because Australian media mocked us for celebrating the follow-on, but I think we need to we deserve to celebrate it because it is a huge relief. This draw is a huge relief for us. I think it will be a fresh start to the team once they go into the fourth test at Melbourne.
Well, Chiru, see what I think is India's celebration part. I mean, yes, it was rather awkward to see that the Indian teams, the Indian team, whatever we could see, of course they were relieved, but more than just being relieved, the expression was that of celebration. So you were celebrating an escape from what appeared to be a certain defeat, or at least a very awkward situation to be in, uh, given the kind of conditions we had there, rains on and off. Okay, we could have always said that, that we could have saved it or whatever, but saving the possibility of being asked to bat again, that itself was a relief. But yes, I don't think the Australians are entirely wrong in saying that, look, you started celebrating. See, when you are relieved, you don't celebrate. You celebrate achievements, you celebrate victory, you celebrate feats, not when you escape a position of being, potentially embarrassed. So what I thought was, even I was of the opinion that why are we Indians doing like that? I mean, on one hand, you say that we are going to give back to the Aussies the way, we receive it from them. That's one thing. You call yourself extremely competitive. You went there not to draw the series. You are there to win it because you have something much more at stake. You have a place at the WTC final at stake, and you are not playing like a team which deserves to be there. Among the top two teams. So here it was an escape. Yes, we continue to bat so poorly whenever we bat first. That has been a major embarrassment, and that has been quite a consistent thing this particular, the second half of the season. Having said that, uh, what have for us, of course, it is not all dark. I mean, we had some great spots also, some real bright ones. Rahul continued to impress, and he's only reinforcing his position at the top. Jadeja, yeah, he has been again proving that, look, he's just more than just a guy who can bowl well. People forget that he's got a couple of triple hundreds in first class cricket, and he has got a few hundreds at the highest level. So he is there as somebody who can do a good job. But then at the same time, on the other side, I feel that the way we saw the retirement of Ashwin midway through a series, almost midway through a test match, so to speak, or rather the bang in the middle of a series. Two matches gone, the third was yet to get over, and he thinks that enough is enough and he has to leave. And that is where I think that there is more to eye than meets the eye. I mean, there is more to it than meets the eye, but having said that, yes, everybody has to pick his time and go. But then I think, given the kind of series that we have going ahead, that is Melbourne and Sydney, the team management should have had a choice to whether consider Ashwin or not. Now, I don't know what has transpired between Gautam Gambhir and Ashwin. But personally, I think that we should have had a choice whether to have Ashwin for at least for the last match at Sydney.
Yeah. So Maitreya, my question to you, first of all, how are you? And how much did you pray to the rain gods? Because we definitely know that it was a miraculous save for us. It played a huge role in the test match, start and stop games. And I feel it was an impact player for the Indian cricket team. Uh, and actually giving a spoiler to your meme point, there was this meme that I saw. Two people who helped India draw this test match. Indra and Ravindra. Indra, the rain god, and Ravindra Jadeja. Yeah, so over to you, Maitreya. Go ahead. And any rain forecast at Melbourne?
Yes, so first, I'm very fine. I'm really happy and excited that we are back again. And coming to your question, I really, really prayed that it should rain because if we have to save this series, I felt rain played a very important role in that match because as you have seen, India is not able to bat long enough. We are, becoming out very fast. And I think it was only because of the rain that we really survived that match because I don't know otherwise because Australia themselves in the second innings they were 89 for 7. So imagine when Australia who hit 445 in the first innings were becoming 89 for 7, then imagine what would have happened to India. So India wouldn't have surely survived. So I felt rain played a very very important role. So I really prayed hard that India should draw this match because I knew we can't win this match and we have to draw it. And I think the rain played a huge role in this. And then if you see the weather in Melbourne now, so the 26th, Boxing Day Test match it is. So 26th December to 30th. I think there is no forecast of any rain there. It is mostly sunny the first day and the second day, the third day, fourth day, it is partly cloudy, but it doesn't show a very rainy forecast or that the match is going to be disrupted. So I think India has to play with everything they can because we can't rely on rain every match. So I think this was a lucky escape for India, but doesn't mean we can't keep relying on that one lucky factor every game. Now we have to show a great comeback. So from the weather side, I think this will be mostly 5 days will be clear for us to play, but I think India will have to make a really good comeback this time.
Yeah, right. Rakesh, sir, my next question is to you. I think we have talked a lot about our bowling unit, that it isn't being doing well. But at the same time, I feel the batters aren't or weren't consistent. Jaiswal, Kohli, they got runs in the first test match, but thereafter, nothing. And then Rohit is in a mess. He himself accepted and said that he was working hard to regain his form. Uh, KL Rahul has been an exception. We know that the top order for both the teams, India and Australia, are having problems. But Rahul, I think, is justified his role there. But I would also like to point out, and I know by now a lot of experts are saying this, that Australian openers, yes, they aren't scoring runs, but what are they doing and what are they giving the team is that they are sticking their feet to the crease. And naturally, when they are batting for 30, 35 overs straight, the ball becomes softer and it allows Travis Head and others to play their natural game. So, Rakesh sir, to you, I mean, we haven't seen anything of Pant in this test series. We haven't seen anything of Rohit Sharma. Virat Kohli just had 100, and Jaiswal, the young man, just he scored his 161, and after that, nothing. So, your views on the batting unit of our team going forward to the fourth test match?
Well, uh, what can be said? Because initially, what we saw was 150 on the board, and then we saw one individual going past that 150 mark. So that means we know that we can bat, but the point is the way we are batting in the first innings. See, I've always maintained that when you bat, be it batting first or second, the second innings of the match you have to bat five sessions. Now here, most of the time that we have seen in the last say about 3 months, every time we have batted first, making first use of that surface, we have struggled, be it at home or say in Australia. So we have to get out of that. Unless that happens, you cannot expect to win matches. we were extremely fortunate that we won the first match, but that was mainly due to the bowling effort of one man and the batting efforts of two individuals in the second innings. You just take out that, and then you look back on the entire series, the way we are, the way we are, going into bat. You know that before 100 runs we are going to lose 5 wickets, and now that is not a surprise anymore. That, I mean, it doesn't take you to have a great analyst mind to say that, because the form of your top guys, I mean, people whom you expect to click, to actually not just click, I would say people like Rohit should be dominating this attack, because by the time he comes in, chances are that the ball is no longer that new. And softer ball, we have been repeatedly hearing that is easy to negotiate. But overall, Chiru, I mean, it is so disappointing to see the way Indians have conducted themselves with the bat so far. So many innings have gone past and we are still struggling. And if you look at their unit, yes, Khwaja, McSweeney, and Labuschagne. Now, all three guys, if you see, even if they don't score so quickly, but of course, if you look at the last innings of theirs, I mean, I'm sorry, the first innings of the last match, where I think together they played more than 150 balls, okay, and their contribution with the bat was, I think, about 42 runs. So if they are scoring at less than 1/3 of the number of balls faced, and these are the top three guys up the order there, so that means our bowlers are doing reasonably well with the new ball, or McSweeney McSweeney and Labuschagne, by choice, they want to stick there. They know that they are in no great hurry to go for their strokes. So if they have an agenda, yes, they are succeeding in that. They are okay, because thereafter what we see is a certain head. He's head for Australia, headache for us. But the way he does things, and he's been doing it so consistently, that it is hurting India really, really bad, because he scores at a good pace. So whatever Khwaja, McSweeney, Labuschagne, or even Stephen Smith, if you look at their strike rate, it doesn't matter, because this guy comes around. And then let's not forget the contribution of their wicketkeeper. Alex Carey, I think behind the stumps has been almost flawless. And then also he is one guy who gives the impression that he's there to stay on, and he contributes with the bat. So overall, when you look at the way their approach has been, yes, their top order is struggling, no question about it. But it is not hurting them as much as it is hurting us. Our openers need to stay around for much longer. You cannot be expecting the middle order to come good, or maybe one or two guys to stay and just, give you that flicker of hope. We need to be dominating. The way we won the first match, we had no business to lose the second the way we did, and the way we struggled in the second. And now we are looking at going to the fourth test match by feeling great about ourselves. The biggest reason being we saved being asked to bat again. And number two, when the Aussies were not sure whether to stick on or to go for quick runs, and we bowled very well, no question about it. The way we reduced that team to something like 35 for 5 and stuff, which was really looking good. So what I want to say is, give credit where it's due. But overall, I think our bowlers need to be doing, slightly better. Not a lot has to be done, because I think the bowlers have still done a good job, barring that one man. Travis Head has got under the skin of the Indians. Barring that, I think we are still in control. Nothing to really be concerned about. But yes, our batters have a lot to do. So let's not put it on our, weak bowling attack, minus, somebody like Jasprit Bumrah. We don't have Siraj and Akash doing well. Yes, Siraj has been struggling. Akash is still new. But that apart, what about our batters? Our batters are so experienced. I mean, you can't be saying that these guys are still youngsters. They've been to a lot of places. They've played a lot of international cricket, be it red ball, white ball. But they need to come good, because now is the time. These two matches, you cannot afford to falter one more time.
Correct, sir. And as you rightly mentioned, That head has really become a headache for us now. And as if that wasn't enough, even Smith joined the party, and in the first innings, Australia scored 445, and then India just managed to score 260. Don't write it off. That's just 260 because the contributions that were given by the lower order, they stepped up and avoided a follow on for us, which was really really amazing because it was Bumrah, it was Akashdeep who were doing that. And I think practically, if a follow on was, if it came into an effect, I think Aussies would have had the upper hand. A big credit has to go to Jadeja, and a very special appreciation and thanks from the bottom of our hearts to Bumrah and Akashdeep. Maitreya, I've seen the highlights. That hook shot from Bumrah that he played and got a maximum. I think it blew my head. And literally just one wicket down, and we would be done. And he really needed guts to play that kind of shot. And then Akashdeep didn't get tempted to spin. Pat Cummins got in Nathan Lyon to distract him, but he just played straight. He was patient and he was satisfied with those singles. And a thick edge finally took the ball to the boundary, and there was smiles in dressing room. Gautam Gambhir had a smile too. And not to forget, after we avoided the follow on, that six that Akashdeep launched into the pavilion, I think that was really a treat to watch for my eyes, to my eyes. So, yeah, run me into this, Maitreya. How were you feeling when this Bumrah, Akashdeep were playing? Because I remember it was my college lunch break, and as I was eating, every morsel that was going into my mouth, only thought is, how is India going to, avoid this follow on? Jadeja has to stick around, but he did get out after his wonderful 70 odd runs, and then Bumrah and Akashdeep did the work. So yeah, what were your thoughts running at that period of time?
Well, obviously, I really wanted them to bat, to avoid the follow-on because, if India would have batted this, a follow-on would have been forced on us, I think the match would have been over because we saw Australia themselves were 89 for 7. So when they were batting, I knew Bumrah could bat because we have seen Bumrah. Before the match, actually, this interesting conversation happened. A reporter asked Bumrah, "What's your assessment on the batting?" And then he said, "Though you're not the right man to answer this." And then Bumrah said, "Are you questioning my abilities with the bat? You should Google and see who has the most runs in a single over in Test." So I think Bumrah was indirectly replying, he can also do well with the bat also because he has been leading with the ball the whole series, the only guy who has been standing through the bowling attack. So I think with the bat today he showed that he's capable of everything because I think that was a one vital partnership, Gabba test, we have something or the other thing, each from the I think 2021 BGT Gabba test was special. I think this time also it is special for this partnership because every time when you see the bowlers, you think they may not bat well or few shots, two three shots they'll hit and they'll become out because we've seen Mohammad Shami or Umesh Yadav, they hit few sixes and they become out. So every time we think bowlers may not be able to bat for long or they may not be able to score those few more vital runs. But I think what Akashdeep and Bumrah did was something really great because they stayed for as much time as they could, and that vital partnership was really important because I think that was the one that saved the match, and it might be the one partnership that saves the series also. So I think if in the end India wins the series, I think this partnership is a game changing point because now since we are 1-1 in the series and this match is a draw, so I think that is where India still has a chance to make a really great comeback. And Australians are also, frustrated that they have not been able to convert this into a victory. So I think full credit goes to them. The way they were playing shots, the way they were, defense playing shots, even the batsman, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, the main batsmen, they were out of form, in this match. They were not able to play the attack and they were fearlessly playing, all these shots. So seeing that confidence, I think that's what frustrated Australia. So I think cricket, even more than the obviously the stats matter, but I think at the end of the day, especially in a Test cricket, it's a mind game. So when they see bowlers frustrating the Australian bowlers. Indian bowlers are tail-enders are frustrating the Australians. I think that's where that mind game matters, and they have psychologically affected Australia. They have helped India, statistically. So I think this is that one vital partnership. I think from this BGT, if India wins the series, I think it will point out to them, because I think the previous time we have seen Vihari and Ashwin's partnership was very vital. So I think this time I think these two will be credited the most if India wins this series.
Well, you've talked so much about Bumrah with the bat, but he is a natural bowler. So let's talk about his bowling in Australia in this series. Well, if I look at the numbers, he has got 21 wickets in just 3 matches that he has played until now, and also that he has got 53 wickets in Australia. So he is the highest wicket taker for India in Australia on Australian soil. And currently his series average is around 10.90. That means every 10 runs is considered is taken 1 wicket, and strike rate of 25. My God, 25 balls you get 1 wicket. I mean, that is also the best by any visiting bowler to Australian Test cricket. Minimum 20 wickets. So, Rakesh, sir, my question to you: How we have already talked about Bumrah in the last episode, that how excellent he has been with the ball, but I would like to add more from your side.
See, Bumrah is the guy. I mean, I think if there is one confident guy in the team, that is Jasprit Bumrah, because he does his job perfectly well. He was asked to lead the team. He did a great job. He was asked to take wickets. He did that. He managed the resources so well as the skipper. So I mean, his confidence is at a very different level. Now you compare him with any other individual in the team, nobody comes even close to him. If you take somebody like KL Rahul is a man who is busy answering his critics. He is only trying to re-establish himself without uttering a word. He comes there, he does his job, and he leaves. Apart from that, you look at what the team looks like. Each individual, other than these two, Ravindra Jadeja being an exception because he hasn't done so badly so far. But the point is, let's just look at the team, why it is struggling so much. Jasprit Bumrah can only do certain things up to a point. He cannot be taking wickets every single time. Please don't expect him to. Because unless he gets support from the other side, all alone, he will continue to do what he does by, like whatever he does best. But, you need support. Any bowler in the world that you see who's been successful, if you see the record books, if you see the scorecards, you'll see the pressure applied from the other end. Irrespective of the name, he needs somebody to give him that support. I don't think Siraj has been able to do it consistently. Akashdeep is still too young. I don't want to put that boy under any pressure. I think he still is doing whatever that he can. But Bumrah, the bowler, it's like a one-man demolition squad. He's not very successful. He's not taking 8 wickets, 9 wickets. But why should we even expect him to take so many? Because the other guys who are supposed to take wickets are not doing their job. So he will take his wickets. He'll give you the breakthroughs up front. He'll come for a new spell, give you a wicket. Now that is what he does, and I hope that Rohit Sharma realizes that he cannot afford to overbowl Bumrah, because you will have to save him. Just because others are not taking wickets, you can't let go of your best bowler and sacrifice him, because you always expect, Bumrah is going to give you a wicket. Yes, he's doing his bit, but what about others? So I still feel where you can't have spinners bowling long spells, where you don't have, you normally go with 3 or maybe 4 fast bowlers for you to expect your top-notch guy or your spearhead to inflict wounds on the opposition every single time. That need not happen. Now, what happens when this doesn't happen? When he doesn't get you wickets, then whom do you go to? You don't have another go-to bowler, because this is not where your spinners are going to rescue you. So that is a tough ask. Even before the series started, I was saying that our attack looks seriously undercooked, but that is what you have. You don't have Shami, and your main strength has been spin, but your spinners are not as effective on those wickets which you already knew. So you always feel that, unless we put early pressure, if you don't get wickets, and your catching has to be brilliant, because if you drop those half chances, then you're putting more pressure on the bowlers. So and to add to this, your batters are not doing well. So overall, it's not a great scenario for us. And then we are the people who keep talking about WTC and more of WTC. Forget WTC for the moment. Let first do the job on hand. Win the series 3-1, then we'll see where we stand. Otherwise, let's not distract. And I'm sure the playing 11 or the team as a whole, they are not bothered about that, like WTC. It is people like us who sit and then we discuss, oh, what is the possibility or what is the probability. But for now, the attack has to get better. The batters have to do a lot better.
Yeah, correct, sir. Uh, we also know that Ravichandran Ashwin announced a shocking retirement mid-series. As you already mentioned that, uh, I would like to just offer a tribute to him in the form of some brilliant numbers that he's got over his career in Test cricket. So he's got some around 537 test wickets in 106 matches. And we also know, and all of us regard Ashwin for that intelligent brain, the mastermind, the way he thinks, and the way he plans and executes them. There's so much homework that he does before every match that he plays. And also, he's got some 7 5 wicket hauls in all this in his entire Test career, and 268 left-handers were dismissed by him in his career. So I think that is something really shock. Not surprising, obviously, but that really shows where Ashwin is. And 25 times Ashwin has bagged 25 plus wickets in a series, the most by any bowler. And I think if you look at his career, he has only gone twice. Like if you consider the entire series, his bowling average has dipped more than 35 only twice in his entire career. So that means Ashwin is really greatest of all time spinners, one of the greatest of all time spinners. Maitreya, I want to come to you. When Ashwin suddenly declared his retirement, I know all of us were shocked, but what do you think of Ashwin? And yeah, we have definitely seen him growing up. We have seen Ashwin play the IPL. We have seen him play international cricket. Not only Test cricket, we have seen him play the One Day International T20. So I think our childhood was made up of these kind of heroes. So today, when Ashwin is retiring, I think is one of the last players when we were child. I mean, when we were children or whatever, the last set of players that we have seen from when we were small. So yeah.
So obviously, the first time I read that news, I actually didn't believe it because I didn't expect Ashwin to retire this early. Ashwin, he has been playing really well. Recently, I think in the Bangladesh series, he got a century. He has been playing really well, bowling wise, batting wise. Was contributing, one of the key players, because normally when a person retires, it's either when he's out of form, or when he knows that he might be dropped soon and it might be better for him to step aside than being taken out of the team. Such players retire, yeah, unless a very few exceptions are there who retire in their prime. So I never expected Ashwin to retire this early, because recently when he crossed 500 wickets, and Nathan Lyon also crossed 500 recently. And I was just making these comparisons and I was thinking, by the time they end their careers, I wanted Ashwin to be higher than Nathan Lyon, and then I wanted Ashwin to cross Anil Kumble also, actually, cross Shane Warne, cross Muralidharan. All those things I had made up in my head. And suddenly seeing that Ashwin had retired from this format, from international cricket itself, was such a big shock, because especially I thought maybe like Anderson, he would continue playing at least only tests, because tests in India is synonymous with Ashwin. He's one of those players like Pujara and Rahane were playing only tests for the past few years, and I thought Ashwin would continue that. Now that they're out, I felt Ashwin, since he's performing really well, a key player, the X factor for this team. and he'll be guiding the youngsters also, has a lot of valuable experience. So in such terms, I never even expected, I thought some fake news it is. And then I saw that clip, Ashwin himself announcing the press meet with Rohit Sharma. And then I was actually really, really shocked because I never expected that. I had made up a lot of assumptions in my mind. And Ashwin was playing for CSK, and I like CSK. I'm a CSK fan. So he's back with CSK now, and there are few players, as you said, from our childhood we have been seeing. Everyone in their childhood they have. One era was Sachin's era, one era Ganguly, Dravid, one era for us Dhoni, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Ashwin, Jadeja. These set of players we have been watching from the time we were children. So when they retire, for our set, for our Gen Z, it will be really emotional. So I actually wanted, Ashwin is a legend in the game. I wanted at least one farewell test, a guard of honor for him. That kind of respect he actually deserved, because normally a player of such stature should be given a really highly awesome farewell actually. And I really felt he missed there, at least I don't know what is going on in his mind. Even now, I actually sometimes think, he should come back out of retirement, because he is still, very valuable for the team. He's scoring runs with the bat, he's bowling wonderfully, and I don't know, it is his personal decision and we should always respect that. But from my personal point of view, I was really shocked, and I still am really shocked, because it is a tough thing to digest. For the past 14 years he's playing, and we have watched cricket, and during our initial stage of cricket, we have seen him as one of those leading players, and seeing him retire suddenly, without a farewell, is something hard to digest. But yeah, we'll come to terms with it soon. So that was one thing I really felt very bad about, his retirement.
Yeah, right. Rakesh, I'm coming to you for this one. Well, this is my personal opinion that 89 for 7 that we had in this third test match, I felt yes, India's bowling was good, but still feel that, was it because that Australia were trying to score quick runs and therefore they gave away their wickets, or was it that our bowling has strengthened itself good enough to go into the next test match? I mean, we're not talking about so much improvement, but as Bumrah said, that the bowling unit is in a transitional phase. So, how are they going to, change things coming to this test match, the fourth test? Rakesh sir, you're on mute, sir.
Yeah. See, first of all, when you say their score was, they were 89 for 7. Uh, see, I give a lot of credit to what we did. I mean, whatever Bumrah, Siraj, and Akashdeep did. That is because if you look at McSweeney, Khwaja, Labuschagne, now all three are struggling. Now, for them to, I mean, if you expected them to come and swing their bats, that didn't quite happen. McSweeney scored 4 of 25, Khwaja 8 of 7, Labuschagne 1 of 9, and of course Marsh was another guy who scored 2 of 13. So they were not allowed to score freely, although they wanted quick runs. But give credit to Akash and Jasprit, because these two guys just didn't let the top 4 guys do anything. And then came Siraj, and then he took out Head and Smith. So if you look at what we guys managed to do, none of these guys except Khwaja, who scored an 8 ball, a 7 ball 8 with 2 boundaries, I think none of them even had the strike rate of 100. Now, what you have to remember here is that they wanted quick runs, we didn't let them score. So that is where there's a lot of credit due to the Indians. Secondly, you said about Jasprit talking about Indian attack being in a transitional phase. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that line at all. If you think Bumrah, who has been around for a bit, he has played long enough to say that, I mean, and he has got good number of wickets. Somebody who's got, something like, I mean, if you look at his number of wickets that he has taken, I think that is close to 200. Now, if you have taken close to 200 wickets, I mean, you are around. That is great. And yes, Akash Deep, you can still say that okay, he is young. Uh, Siraj again has taken close to 100 wickets. So these are the guys who have been around. I mean, close to 34 test matches, 35 matches is something that it doesn't make you a youngster or somebody who is a new kid on the block. No, definitely not. So Akash, yes, and if you look at the two spinners, let's not even talk about them. One of them has retired. So when you talk about our attack in its entirety, it wasn't so bad. But if you look at a three-man pace attack, even there, I mean, if two guys total close to, I mean, say 280 wickets, now that is the average. I mean, the average is about 140 per head, which is fantastic. So it was not exactly a bowling attack in transition, but then that's what Jasprit thought. But coming to your third point, where you say what we are expected to do next, I think we are going to do much the same because we don't have much of an option. Washington Sundar will be in, and a three-man pace attack, as always. Jadeja will hold his place. And then, the thinking is that we are going to do better, or the bowlers stand a much better chance of performing well on the kind of surfaces that we have at Melbourne and Sydney. So that should be an added motivation to the team, that okay, now our bowlers will do better, because if you compare it to the surfaces that we saw in the first three matches, uh, you know Perth, Adelaide, and Brisbane. But then Melbourne, we can also have like drop in wickets, and if we have those kind of wickets, then again the fast bowlers will have a lot of work to do there, and then that also makes job a little easier for our top order. Should they dig their feet in, they will have to really, really, really do something about not playing their shots too early and take a leaf out of KL Rahul's book. Otherwise, we are going to again see Indian team. By the time we cross 100, we on in the wickets column we see something like five or six. That is shameful, in fact. So if we don't learn even after the series is more than halfway through, I think then we have to do some serious thinking. And that too, we keep talking about the fact that the WTC thing is there. That makes matters worse. So first of all, focus on every ball, get the job done, play out five session and play it session by session, win these sessions. More importantly, when you play test cricket, you got to take it session by session and not day by day, because in any case, test matches, if played completely, we don't see that we have 450 overs of a test match ending in a draw. So chances are that if you have full days cricket, the result will be clear by day three. So the last day you need not have all three sessions in action. So overall, I think we still have to learn from this. I'm disappointed by the way we have performed with the bat, but then these things happen, and these guys know it only too well. And Virat, after that one innings where the pressure was not on him because the runs were already on the board, we had a foundation of more than 200 runs for the first wicket. So you can imagine he still has to come and absorb pressure, and he knows how to do it. He has excelled under pressure. So it's just that one innings he still has to get it, and he has to get it very soon. We keep talking about top guys being just one good innings away from hitting form, but where is that innings? We still have to look good, and people like Virat and Rohit, more than anything else, they have to look convincing in the middle. They cannot be looking vulnerable, and that's a poor sight to see. Somebody like Virat giving you the impression that he's going to leave the crease maybe this ball or the next ball, and he leaves us soon enough. So that is something which has been very, very disappointing.
Yeah, right, Maitreya. We'll end this episode with your meme point.
Yes, so a lot of memes have been going on around, as usual, and I think I'll just pick two of the many ones. So one was around about the latest Gabba test. There is a reference from the Thor movie in which Pat Cummins is uh, as a villain character, and Thor is Rohit Sharma in this meme. So, and then the Pat Cummins dialogue is, "You can't defeat me." And Rohit Sharma's dialogue is, "I know, but they can." And they show Bumrah and Akashdeep. So that is one of the great memes because the number 10 and number 11 save the follow on. So that was the reference to that. And there's another funny incident, about Rutraj Gaikwad that has been making rounds. So he was attending a meeting in Bengaluru, and in that meeting, the mic that Rutraj was holding, by mistake it stopped working. So the presenter asked, how can you turn off Rutraj's mic? And then Rutraj said, might be someone from RCB. So this was another meme that is going around. So these two memes are one of the highlights of this week's meme point.
Yeah, well, this will bring you to today's episode. Hope you liked it. Follow Legends and Lads Cricket Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this podcast on. And you can follow us on Instagram, X, Facebook. And also, we started writing some written content on medium.com, so follow us there as well. Thank you, Rakesh sir, for coming. Thank you, Maitreya, for coming.
Thanks a lot, Chiru, and thanks to Sri Krishna Maitreya. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
So, thank you, sir.